Okay, folks, good afternoon. My coffee's about ready. You can hear its machine's grunting it to squeeze it out. Anyhow, I figured we'd do a little bit of a modeling. I have been busy all day. Actually, I've been very busy. Very busy doing nothing. Jeez, why is it taking so long? You can do it! Well, so this morning I had a visitor very early, and we played a game. We played a game that's supposed to be a relatively quick game that went on for about almost 4 hours. 200 and how many minutes is it? This thing timed out. Let's see. How many minutes is the video? 260 minutes. So I'm in the middle. How far am I editing it? Almost 100 minutes in. I'm just listening to it. I'm not going to edit any of it out. But we had a couple of false starts. I decided not to do it live, so it could be of better quality. And had a couple of false starts. And at one point, the phone actually was what I was filming with. The phone disconnected, and I missed. Fortunately, I missed only 30 seconds. So what's up, Ben? So we do have a video coming. It's Gaslands. It's out here on the island. It worked really well, even though there was a couple of snafus with the camera. The first like I was doing the intro like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm like, it stopped. It stopped recording. I don't know. So I don't know what's going on, but it does look like it all came out. It's just going to take a while to upload it. It's going to take a while to upload. It's about 260 minutes. So I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but let's just say it turned out real even. It turned out real even. So it's funny. He got here at 7 o'clock in the morning, and he left at noon. So he was here like 5 hours. And like 4 hours of it was playing the game. And it was like, I'm sitting here listening. I was doing other stuff while I was listening to the video just to make sure there's not any, incongruencies or stuff like that. Because sometimes, like when I'm talking, I'm just talking a lot of trash as filler. And I end up like, saying one thing but meaning something else. Just try to avoid shit like that. And one thing that happened was I'm listening to it. I'm like 100 minutes in, and I'm looking at the part of the part of the race, and I'm like, really? That's as far in as we are? Because it doesn't seem it went by so quick. It seemed like an hour long, and it was like 4 hours long. So hopefully somebody will find value in it. I don't know. We just did it, and so be it. So now we're back to modeling. Actually, I ordered something last night that I was having issues with, and we'll see how that works out. I had to get a special screwdriver to take apart the Xbox controllers. The two Xbox controllers I have, the B button, the one on the right. Okay, so if it's north, south, east, and west, the east one is sticking tremendously on both of them. So I'm going to have to take it apart. And to take it apart, you need a Torx screwdriver, which I don't have one. So Amazon to the rescue. So we'll be working on that tonight. Popping it off, and cleaning the crud out. Because those things are expensive, like $70 fucking for a controller. I'm like, that's just too expensive. So we've got this Panzer III that is I don't know if I'm going to leave it like this or not. I'm kind of like, I felt like I needed to have more done to it, and I came back just a moment ago, back in this room, and I'm like, damn, that thing looks really good, you know? So I may just leave it alone. But I don't feel like painting right now. If I wanted to paint something, I would end up having to go to the garage, and I don't feel like doing a show in the garage. I've got, the phone is being used right now to edit that, so I figured, well, what can we do with a computer? I said, well, we could put some other models together because, you know, like I don't have a hole in the head. This worked out really good for the cars, by the way. You know, we like drew the cars and I came over here, okay, what do you got? And I pulled those cars out. So that worked really well. So hopefully you guys will check out that video whenever it's up tomorrow. But I had an interesting thing. Ben, you weren't on here yesterday when I was talking about it. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. But I had a situation that happened where I got I believe it was Thursday. It might have been Thursday night when I talked about it. On Thursday, I got an email from YouTube saying, one of your, what's up, Big Mac? I got a notification from YouTube saying, one of your videos can no longer be monetized because of a copyright issue with the music. I'm like, well, I haven't done a video in a long time that had music on it. And the music I use is through my video editor that specifically is to be monetizable. So I figure what happened is one of the free songs that are available through the editor decided to renege on their rights or whatever. And they wanted their song back. They didn't want anybody to use it, and somehow found out about it. So it was a video called Junk in the Trunk. It was an elephant-themed DBA army that we did like in March of 2021. So if you go back and watch that video, there's like, why isn't there any music at the beginning of it? Well, there was, but I had to remove the music. So, weird 4 years after the fact. That's the only thing that could have happened. It's not like I used an inappropriate song or something like that. I'm like, you know, that's why I always say I'm careful to put things with the crooked spider on here because, you know, the bots are always searching for shit, right? They're always out there, you know, fucking with things. But I do have a that video that's in the process of being edited. Like I said, I had a couple false starts, and that kind of freaked me out about it because I don't want to do all that effort and then like have nothing to show for it, you know. But the bad thing about it is my day's like gone. I mean, I still feel like it's like 9 a.m. Like, how the fuck is it 4:30? Like, there goes my weekend. But we had a good time. Mitch finally got to see the house. And, like, he believes me when I said, look, I got a lot of fucking vehicles. Like, all this shit was done because I'm not doing DBA. He's like, holy fuck. I mean, you know, yeah. We got a lot. Hey, let's build some more. I got kind of a treat here. I think we got the Panther done. You know, we got to drill it for antennas and stuff like that. Find some spare tracks. Put it back here. Panther G. Along with the 2 Italeri Panther Gs. As well. This could be moved out of the way. One of the other things that I grabbed for a couple bucks was this. This is an old thing. Old. E-Die. 1/76 scale. And it is a Flakpanzer IV, also known as a Wirbelwind. And I really like this. This is probably not a good example of it, but the art that this company had was phenomenal. Now, this company has a hard-on for everything German and nothing else. So, you know, you'll see that they make German, and, you know, you can see it's German, and German things, and German stuff, and more Germans, and like, who are they going to fight? But this artwork's actually really cool looking. It's kind of like an oil pastel water painting, watercolor, something like that. Anyways, I picked this up for a couple bucks. These instructions are probably poison. You know, simple enough. Instructions. Let's see what we got in here. Hey, look, all the tracks are all put together. Some people will be like, take all the fun out of it. I'm like, no, you can focus on painting it. Anybody can put a track together. I think. It just takes time. Anyhow, that Gaslands game will be up. E-Diet Corporation. Been sitting in a wrapper since Gerald Ford was president. Okay, we have a fucking treat. We have a fucking treat. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this because I could make this a Wirbelwind, or here's the turret for a Panzer IV. All of a sudden, the Panzer IV is a lot more interesting. Yeah, we got several things here. This is like plastic soldier company shit. Like, you know, you get something and then you get a bunch of other things with it. I like that. I like that. Now, I've got one of these I've got one of these that was the Panzer IV. Now, I didn't build it. It already came that way. Well, let me show it to you. It is in gray. And well, I'm never going to find it with these glasses. Wow, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. It's this guy back here. Yeah, pens are gray, and it... Did I correct this, or did I not correct this? It looks like a double muzzle brake, but it also has the little side things on here. So I could make another one like this, or I can make a flak panzer. So I already have one of these that I'm using. I don't. I'm sorry. I thought I did. I have this thing, which is 1/87th. It's a little too small, but hey, it works. So the only reason I would consider building this is these guys were in this operation, and I don't have any Panzer IVs for it. And they're 1/76 scale. Now, it has, and I can't use it for both because the Wirbelwind was never in gray. I don't think I've never seen a Wirbelwind in gray, ever. And I wouldn't want to do this in yellow because these vehicles were in gray as well. So let me think about this. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Shit, part of me wants to convert this into make this one winter as well. I'll probably never get another one of these because these things are hard to find. Has a couple of errors in it. Nothing spectacularly huge, but the hatch doesn't open, and it's also at the wrong angle. The hatch is a two-piece hatch, and it should open out like this so that you're standing on it. You could be like pushing the two sides down, right, and bracing yourself. And this one's like at a 45-degree angle from that. Well, let's put it together. Well, it's not like we're gonna paint it right now, but yeah, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that to get a freebie. I normally be like, oh, we'll just make it as a standing turret by itself. Yeah, it's not the right time period. We don't have to make that decision right now. Flames of War has them, but the resin and metal tracks had metal guns. I used to love metal things because it had heft. And then I realized it's a pain in the ass. Oh, there's all kinds of other shit in here. This is like some kind of radar thing. What the hell? Here is the... Oh, okay, there's like a little radar wagon. That's cute. Oh, and it even gives you a little axle. So that must be the axle for the wagon. Interesting. All right, we're going to set this turret aside. Like I said, I wanted to take a break from the editing. You know, I woke up this morning, I didn't do this. Oh shit, I forgot to take my pills. I forgot to take my pills so I have a heart attack. I'm not going to have a heart attack on a day off. I got no worries. Have a day off and I'm all out of schedule. By the way, the ships came. I need to order bases for most of them, 70 by 20 millimeters. The destroyers and unarmed auxiliary ships fit on the fort. What ships did you get? I don't think we talked about this. Or maybe you did, and I'm just drawing a blank. You bought pre-dreadnoughts? I thought you already had some. You know what I would do if I'm dead set on putting ships on stands? Tongue depressors. Because they're circular. The front of them's circular. Like perfect. Pills, yeah. Blood pressure shit. So that happens when you're 50s. And fat. I can just stay home and build models all day long. I would need blood pressure medicine. Yeah, I don't remember you were getting any. You didn't check with me before you ordered things. You don't have to. It's not my turn to watch you. You know, that symbol you have of the pills, man, the first thing it reminds me of is when I was a kid. You know, I was a kid in the 70s. We didn't have a million different cough things you had, right? Like if you got some sinus thing, there weren't that many different medicines you can get. Now they got, you know, Robitussin and Dimetapp and this, that, and the other, and, you know, and all the other off-brand things. Back then, there was very limited to what you had. And I remember my dad used to always have Contact. I don't even know if they still make Contact, but Contact was like that. I mean, the colors on it were a little different. I think it was red and like a beige, or maybe even red and white. And it was one of those capsules that you swallow it, inside your stomach, it eats the capsule, and then all the beads, because that's what they look like, the little beads that are inside, like, go to work, right? Well, for some reason, when I was a kid, and I forget about this, but for the longest time, and I don't mean like when I was 5, I mean like until I was, it might have been like till 11 or something like that. I couldn't swallow medicine. I think I was just scared. I had a situation that happened to me when I was younger, like around 7 years old, where I was choking on a fish bone, whatever it's called, a piece of cartilage. And I think that the byproduct of that is that I was afraid of swallowing medicine. So I have to chew all my medicine. Well, if you choose something like contact, you're gonna wish you weren't alive. It tasted awful. You think it's like, oh, it would just taste like dirt, right? So you're just eating dirt, something inert, or like chalk, or something like that. Oh no, this medicine tasted like hell, and that's what it reminded me of. Those pills it reminded me of contact, chewing on contact. You know, you wouldn't get the full effectiveness because some of it was stuck on your teeth. You know, that kind of shit. Just the tumbling dice starter sets for Russia and Japan, then threw in the Nakhimov and some Russian destroyers to even him out. Well, you're making me a little jealous, but I thought about painting some. I thought about painting some ships lately because we're talking about it. I'm like, man, I could run a Sea Creek 4 game. That's what I'd probably go to because it's just so easy to. It's so easy for me to do that. To just cut right back into it. But I'd probably start off with the stuff that was out in Vladivostok and Port Arthur before the fleet comes over and it's like the war's over after that, right? Like they do a sneak attack. I don't remember exactly. I remember reading into it like to do scenarios and stuff like that. And those Russians, I mean, just got devastated. You know, now the Japanese army took a lot of losses. The Navy, not so much. The Navy was like sharper than the Russians. The Russians were just like bumbling around. But they did that sneak attack on Port Arthur. They didn't take out all the ships, and there was a squadron of I don't know two or three battleships or something like that that would do sorties. And eventually, they got involved in one of the battles. I want to say the Battle of the Yellow Sea or something like that, and they got sunk. But they were out there for a while, and then there was some ships that were in Vladivostok as well. So there was a lot of like the fleet and being kind of stuff. Kind of reminded me of like the German ships that went over to Turkey in the First World War, where they were like, you know, they were dangerous, but they were like cut off from everybody else. Pack of ferries, armed yachts, and tramp steamer. I think I'll keep the battle small, like 3 to 4 ships aside. Do I work with speed paints? And if you do you like speed paints? Speed paints showed up too late for me. I don't think they're made for me. Like, the only thing I would need an improvement in paint is just like not go to work so I can paint more. I don't really need any shortcuts with them. I'm fine with there being shortcuts for people. Like I've said before, the more products there are, the more options the consumer has, and everybody wins. You know, but speed paints really aren't geared for me. I know one person who is an advanced painter that took to them, and they happen to like them a lot. I can't imagine doing better work with them than what I'm already using, and therefore I'm not interested. And I've got plenty of paints. I don't need to paint them as well. But it seems like paints would be really geared towards people that prime in white, right? Because they're basically like watercolors in a way that they're watered down, and I could see that, but I don't really want to change my style. I didn't realize the admiral in charge of the Baltic Squadron died a day or two before Tsushima. Then his body got blown up in the battle. I didn't know that either. I just found that out. Some guy from Britain just told me that. So would that have made a difference? Is it like the Spanish commander that died, that was a hero of Lepanto? He never made it to. He never made it to the Armada, and therefore, your island continued to speak English. Is it something like that? There's a guy on one of the pages, on one of the Facebook pages. He does really good work. I can't remember what his name is. I think I know what his name is, but I don't want to utter it in case I get him wrong. But anyways, he posted recently in the last week where he took an Airfix 88 millimeter gun, with the whole tractor, with that big half track and everything, and it's an old model and it lacks detail. He added all kinds of details to it that's like really amazing, and I'm like, I appreciate stuff like that, but at some point, like I'm just going to be happy with what's there. If I'm going to spend all that time converting it, well, there's some conversion things that I don't think it needs. That's not knocking his work. I'm just saying that people could probably just do the same thing, with the stuff I do. Although I've seen people that have done like really complicated conversions. There's several of them on, I want to say 172nd all the way. And they'll do these really complicated conversions, making sure you got the right road wheels and the right idler is on there. And then when it's time to paint, they just like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, what about making all those details pop? He was dying of cancer before they even got to Suez. They quietly put him in charge of the older ships. He was the overall commander by seniority and so on paper, if I remember correctly. Every time you read about them, I find another cursed moment. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, definitely not a lucky people. Definitely not a lucky people. Whether a lot of it is brought upon themselves or not. I don't have anything against the Russians per se. Pre-commie Russians. But the Mongols fucked them hard. And I'll take anybody's side except the Mongols. I am not a pro-Mongol person. Fuck those guys. That doesn't mean I wouldn't build a Mongol army. I'm just saying, So here's the thing about cancer. When did they discover cancer? Because I'm sitting there thinking, 1905, how would they know that it was cancer? How did they know that that's what that was? I thought cancer was like I'm not a medical person, but I always thought, cancer was something that they found out. They had to find out about cancer not until the 70s, because everybody was smoking. Like, why would somebody smoke if, I guess they didn't put two and two together. Okay, I painted one of these. I just didn't build one. So that's why some of this stuff is like Greek to me. I don't have any memory of this. They found cancer in dinosaur bones. Yeah, but did the dinosaurs know it was cancer? See, what I'm saying is cancer is, you call it whatever you want. Your body's, you got stuff that's fighting it or whatever, your body eating itself, whatever you want to call it. But I thought cancer was like, they didn't know about cancer until like the 60s or 70s. I don't know. I'm stupid like that. I'm not a medical person. Don't ask somebody in the medical profession where the hell Vladivostok is. They won't fucking know, okay? Meanwhile, I'm a fucking expert. Don't ask me about cancer. Luckily, I don't know anything about it. So regardless of what color I want to paint this thing, this won't change. This will not change. So anyways, we did the whole game on the big on the big table with the palm trees. It worked really well. Still, I would say a minimum of terrain. I didn't put like scattered bushes or anything. It didn't really need that. But it was just kind of a nice alternative to playing on like that factory floor that we normally play on for Gaslands. But today has gone by way too fast. Way too fast. And we might do another game next weekend if I don't travel out of town. I'm not sure how that's going to work out yet. I might go out of town. My daughter wants to do something, and I don't really want to. I don't really want her driving all the way up in the interstate. I'd rather go down there. The one thing I hate about dinosaurs, the people that name them, they are some rejected people. They wouldn't make it 1 week in advertising. Those clowns wouldn't make it a week in advertising. Do you put your own Zimmer? No. That's not worth my time. I don't like to put something on a tank that, like, okay, I have enough attention to detail that if I put Zimmer on the tank, I can make it look reasonable from the standpoint that you see pictures of it and it looks like ass. Well, I don't want to. I don't want it to look like ass because to an untrained eye, it just looks like I don't know what the hell I'm doing and I did a shoddy job, and I don't want to be known for that. Like that. That's a pride thing. There's only one ship I've not in the secret list. It's the Zemshud, the Novik, which had the copies of, but the Jemchug had 2 extra 4.7s. Well, we can make the list for. Are you thinking about using Sea Creek 4? I mean, it doesn't have any rules for ship formations and stuff like that, but you could probably do that yourself. I mean, if you wanted to add that sort of thing, restrictions, the same way that you could probably use some kind of pip mechanism. Pips move normal. If you don't roll enough pips, you've got to stay going in the same direction, or something like that. I am wondering where the hell my ship data 2 went. It got used so much it fell apart. And I'm sure that the part of that is somewhere. Alright, where is this? Well, that's the top to that. Okay, so regardless of which one we do, this hull, assuming I have it here, because that could be a thing. I could be missing something. Because it happened to me on the other tank. It happened to me on the other vehicle. Okay, it uses the same hull as this. Alright, got it. Those are by Tumbling Dice. How do they look like? They look good? Use Secret 4. Just add the 2 extra guns when I do the data card for it. They don't come with like the molded waters, do they? I saw an article that Barry Hilton did with his sailing ships on how he did the water for his sailing ships. And I don't really care about sailing ships. at all until I see the stuff that he does, and I'm like salivating because he does like really inspirational work with his ships and stuff. And he did the water with them using milliput, which I've had very limited experience using. I bought some on the cheap, and it dried out on me. Like they were selling it at Hobby Lobby for like $4 or something like that. And I'm like, I'll pick it up. I used it a couple times, then it dried out. It was like already on its way out. It was the milliput white. So I don't have a lot of experience using that or green stuff. I've done some pretty cool stuff with green stuff, but I'm a noob with it. I'm a professional airbrusher compared to, my experience using green stuff. The only ones that have a puddle base are the armed yachts. You have an idea how you're going to paint them? I know that the squadron that was there was probably overall white with the ochre funnels. And there was like 3 battleships that were there. I don't remember which ones they are. I want to say Pobeda was one of them. Or Pobeda. That information should be easy to find nowadays. Well, I was not expecting this to be this way. Oh, it would help if... In some ways, I like this better than anything else. It's almost like a Plastic Soldier Company. Puddle base. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can just imagine. So I need to refurb the controller. For the Xbox. For both of them, actually. We'll do one and see how that goes. And if we're playing next week, I'd like to have something unique like a tank or something like that to use. A tank, a rig, maybe both. In Japan, neutral gray, Russians in black with ochre funnels. See, I wouldn't paint my Russians that way because that's how my British would be. I'm talking about doing, that's 1905. I would probably do something that's like 1898. I would probably do something before the Spanish-American War. That way you could have Spanish in there as well if you wanted to. So they could be picked on by Italians or something like that. Something different. Okay, that looks pretty good. But now we have a couple things that go inside here, which is the Vision Block and the MG. Yeah, I'd do the Japanese and that, whatever the black or the dark gray or both. Like gray with the black holes with the white upperworks and a gray funnels with stripes on them. Horizontal stripes, obviously. Around the circumference. Flag sheets. And 1/2400? That's small. I mean, the Russian ones are easy to do. You incorrigible thing. All right. You don't want to flip these things out. You got to make sure you put the machine gun on this side. You guys watched Der Tiger yet? Must remember to check which flag goes at which end before I add them. Oh, as far as like on the front of the ship and the back? Yeah, usually the flag that goes at the front is the one that doesn't look normally. So, like for instance, on Russian ships, it would probably be the one that was mostly red. I think they were using that at one time, which is a good looking flag. So, it's like a red background with the St. Andrew's cross on it. It's kind of like the Union Jack, but not. Union Jack, like the field of it is blue, and the field of this one is red. It's a good looking flag. And then at the back, you just have the white one with a blue with the blue cross on it, the St. Andrew's cross. I don't know who this Andrew guy is, but probably some guy got crucified upside down or some shit like that. Oh, this goes off to the side. It's not to the... up and down. That's interesting. They're a bit oversized. Well, I think they have to be. The one on the front's not very big. What ships did you get? What ships did you get for the Russians? Oh, this goes together like ass. Yeah, I may have to remove this. Oh, you said the ones for the battle for what? Let's see. Oh, whatever the starting ones are. Man, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet now. Who knows if it's right, though? Well, that's just wrong. That's not how it goes together. Because first of all, the little slot is horizontal on here. So it's got to be like... it's got to be like this. That's how it's got to be. Why does this stick down? This is all sorts of wrong. And I'm not going to look at how the other guy built it because that's where it should be. So all that's sticking out. Well, if I flip it this way, Pallet has a good looking ship. Sleek looking cruiser. And the reason I'm saying that is I probably have some paint schemes for him. No, not you've already figured out how you want to paint him. That's fine, but I'm just going to remove this and glue it like how it's supposed to go. You could not find much on destroyers, other names and a vague reference to class, so the names I'm using for them may be wrong. Oh, dude, I got all that information. What class destroyers do you have? What destroyer class you have? I have all that shit, and I have from like official sources. I got Conways. Go grab my Conways. What class destroyers do you have for the? I almost said the Soviets. It's funny because I almost never call them. I call things Germans and Russians, not Soviets and Nazis. Let me get the first Conways. It's 1816 and 1905. I gotta use this for something. I mean, these things cost like $50 fucking. Way back when. This. Wiki class. Okay, so let's go in the back. This is what I like. This I don't have to get anything done by any particular time. So if you say something that's interesting that sends me down a rabbit hole, perfect. Okay, and these are normally listed by size of navies. So the navies that are the most prominent, that have the most ships, are towards the beginning. So, you know, the Brits are going to be first. Okay, so we're going to go to the front. Okay. Let's get educated. Conway's Maritime Press. Okay, great powers. Russia, 170. So you'll have that round little fucker, right? The Russians had that round ship. I want to say it's Admiral Nakimov. Man, if I get that right, I'm not working the rest of the weekend. Okay, so at the beginning of it, it describes what ships were already in the Russian Navy in 1860. So there's not going to be any ironclads, really. You start adding these things on there. Sometimes they have a drawing to them, sometimes they don't. And it's usually like capital ships, cruisers. So Nakimov is not the round one? How do I even know that? I've never even played anything of that period. Hey, I surf a lot. And that's back surfing on ships. All right. So let's go through here. Novgorod is the one. Novgorod coastal defense ship. Yep. Admiral Nazarev, Peter Velicki, Peter the Great. That's a good looking ship, even though it's ancient. 1870s. Katerina, those look good. Navarin looks good. Trisvitelia, 3 something. I don't know what the hell Trisvitelia means. Sisoi Veliki. Oh, the Sissy Veliki. I like these ships that are like class 1. Like, this is one ship, that's it. Admiral Ushakov, 4 in the class. Petropavlovsk, 3. Peresviet. That's the class that we're in. These are, I believe, they were built in France. These got their ass beat, and before, I believe these were some of the ones that were in that squadron that they sent the other fleet all the way around the Cape, because the ones that went all the way around the Cape had the Suvorovs in it, which were the quote unquote the state of the art ships. Peresviet were French ones. They're really high, French built. Borodino, yeah, these are the guys that went around. Emperor Pavel, okay. All right, let's get to the destroyers. Rurik is the Russian Blucher. Palada. Okay. You say the what class? Boyki. Destroyers. Here's the Boyki class. 350 tons. 210 feet long. I feel like that's pretty long for that period. 26 knots. That's pretty fast for that. One 11-pounder. Who knows what the fuck that is? No idea what the hell an 11-pounder is. 5 3-pounders. 12 to 18 mines. Zadorny later named Lieutenant Pushkin the 5 Belgian works destroyers at Nikolaev, and the four Nikolaev were Black Sea boats, Yarrow-type 4-funnel destroyers resembling an enlarged Bruitki. There were 2 single-deck torpedo tubes and 1 in the stern, which was later removed, and 6 torpedoes were carried. Only the 5 built by Belgian works had Norman boilers. In the Russo-Japanese War, Boyki and Burney were at Port Arthur, the former escaping at the surrender, while Buini, Bravi, Brest-Yachtevich... Holy shit. Let me have a drink. Okay. The former escaping the surrender, while Buini, Bravi, Brest-Yachtchi, Buistri, Bodri, Bajdovi, Bezuprechny, Gromky, and Grozny. It sounds like a bunch of freaking kobolds or some shit like that. We're at Tsushima. Okay, so 2 of them were at Port Arthur of this class, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 were at Tsushima. Bajdovi, with seriously wounded Admiral Rozhevsky, good lord, on board, was captured by the Japanese and served as the Satsuki. Boyki, Bravi, Bodri, and Grozny were at Vladivostok during the First World War, and Vidny and Gromyachi in the Baltic. Zvoy was lost in the Sea of Azov. Isn't that landlocked? No, it's connected to the Black Sea, isn't it? I don't remember anymore. One of them, it's the Aral Sea that's landlocked, which basically doesn't exist anymore. It's like basically been like, it's like if a giant went in and put a straw and just sucked all of it out. Go look at it on Google Earth. It's pretty amazing. Zovi was lost in the Sea of Azov when part of Wrangel's fleet. Bravi, Zavidny, and Grozny were renamed Asinimov, Marty, and Balyank after the revolution. No picture. Rurik is your favorite Russian ship at that time. Rurik was, badass. Rurik was a badass ship. It's like the Russian Blucher. It's like it's like more advanced than any other armored cruiser during that time period, like Blucher, but like not a battle cruiser. Like you show up at a battle cruiser fight, you're gonna get ate up. But Rurik didn't get made until like 1908 or something like that. I could be wrong. It's got to be earlier than that. It's in this book, and it shouldn't be in this book. Yeah, Rurik is like Long as hell. I mean, it's like really, really long, like sleek. And I take it you don't mean this Rurik, the other Rurik, this Rurik. Yeah, it's completed in 1908. So why is it even in here? Because this is supposed to be through 1905. Cheaters. The best large ship laid down for the Russian Navy up to 1905. One of the best armored cruisers ever built. Yeah. So it's in here. It was laid down, but it was completed later. Yeah, it's a good looking ship. Turret's a little small. 410s, 8.8s. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. That could beat the shit out of like the Scharnhorst and Eisenhower. Well, the World War One Scharnhorst and Eisenhower. Assuming they got equivalent crews. Do I have any rum? No, I'm not a fan of rum. Do I have any rum? I may have rum in the house, but it's because of a recipe that they did. I don't. It's too sweet. Mitch is the sugar guy. I'm not the sugar guy. Yeah, that the only destroyers you got? Yeah, it looks like you got the right one. I don't know how many you got in there, but I definitely would have Boyke and Bernie. Yep. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 in the class. But not all of them were completed in time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were completed in 1902. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 were completed in 1903. 2 were completed in 1904. That's really the only ones you should be using for the for the Russia-Japanese War. Just a pack of 3 for the Russians. Okay, so you did Boyke, Bernie, and I bet you used the other one that carried the Admiral. That's what I would have done. Baidovi. Baidovi. Yeah. Yeah, I got all 3 of them. This is certainly the one that I use the least. But this is the one where I wanted to get this and take all of the armor that's in Seekrieg and just make sure that they don't have anything wrong in it. Yeah, Rurik's got good armor. Rurik's got better armor than Rurik has better armor than the Invincible class battle cruisers. It's got 8-inch conning tower, 6-inch belt, 8-inch turrets, 7-inch secondary turrets. That's a lot of armor for a secondary turret. Well, you know what? If you don't put armor in the turret, that's where you're going to blow up. That's what's going to kill you. Yeah, it's late. Yeah, lake effect snowstorm today. You couldn't see the street or half my driveway. Wow. And the Japanese fleet is Fuji. Oh, I like Fuji. Shikishima. Oh, I like Shikishima too. Mikata, Izumo, Chitose, and 3 Murakumo class destroyers. You need to know what the Murakumos are called? Let's go there. Where be thy nips? Nips are farther towards the back. Because they didn't have that many ships. It should be ahead of Spain. Denmark. Why is Denmark ahead of Spain? Like, I know the Spanish don't have a lot of ships, but the Danes, come on, man. Out defending Greenland. We're not going to talk about that, whatever that bullshit's going on. Ridiculousness. Maybe the plan all along is somebody wanted Europeans to defend it, so there's like, hey, I'm going to attack it, and they went to send people there. Although I think they've only sent like 8 guys or something. Hey, like fucking Chuck Norris or something like that. Send eight of our Chuck Norris guys. All right, where the hell is Japan back here? Where's the nips at? Dude, Japan's right after Russia. What? Get out of this city. 216. Izumo. Okay, so we're already all up in this. Let's go to the destroyers. I have names for them, but I couldn't live. Well, let's see what I would name them, okay? And see if we guessed right. Chiyo, look at this thing. Chiyo Togata. One thing I don't know about Japanese is, like, the French, right? I don't speak French, but I can figure out how the name of the French ship is said. Japanese, ain't got a fucking clue. Because they break down their words and syllables not like a Western person would. And I'm Western. Sorry. We're Visigoths here. Okay. What class you say? Murakumo? Murakumo class. They don't tell you dick. Murakumo class. Look at this. These guys don't give a shit about the Easterners. Look. Murakumo class. It tells you the displacement, the length, their speed, what they're armed with, and the complement. That's it. It doesn't even tell you who's in the damn class. That's just embarrassing. You know, they don't give you any details for Ikazuchi or Murakumo. Then the Akatsuki class, they do have information on it. Oh, hold on a second. They have these three, and then the details are written for all of them. All right, let's see what they got here. The Ikazuchi class, well, we're not talking about them, all launched in 1899, were completed 1899-1900, and comprised the following vessels. Akebono, Ikazuchi, Inazuma, Niji, Oboro, and Sazanami. That's these guys. That's the class before the Murakumo. The Murakumo class, launched and completed 1898 to 1900, comprised of Kagero, Murakumo, Shinonome, Shiranyu, Usugubo, and Yugiri. So, Japanese destroyers have silly-ass sounding names. However, if you translate what they mean, it's pretty cool. Almost as cool as British destroyers, but not quite. But, you know, they'll say, like, you know, rising clouds, or, you know, beautiful sunshine in May, or some crap like that. You know, they'll always have some poetic type of names, which is kind of cool, you know. Well, maybe the Janes is done the same way, but they did the Janes after the war, and after the war, I'm sure the Japanese had more ships than the Russians did, because the Russians got their asses beat. I mean, it wasn't even close in the ocean. That's all. It just tells you what ships are in the class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ship class. That's it. I'm sure you can go on the internet and find out more stuff. Yeah, the names are cool when you find out what it is. Yep. Anyhow, cool stuff. Yeah, I haven't pulled this thing out in decades. That's what she said. And I do have the Janes as well. I have the Janes. I have a Janes World War One and a Janes World War Two. So, and then I've got my favorite fucking book of all time. I gotta remember that this is my favorite book. Somebody says, "What's your favorite book?" It should be no question what my favorite book is. It should be this. Well loved. It's actually in decent shape. Just the cover got eaten up. This is the Complete Encyclopedia of Battleships, which is still available. And it's got just gorgeous artwork. And it's chronologically put in here. See, this is how I do all my British of that period. You know, you got to like cover over the red because you don't see the red. But basically, damn near black hull, white, and then the funnels. Well, I say that, but if I saw something cool for a certain navy, what the fuck is this? Portuguese or Brazilians? That would be interesting. Brazilians and. All right, we're getting into the. Let's see if we got any Russian or. I always thought this ship was cool. Pelayo. The only Spanish ship that was worth a fuck. It's got like 13-inch guns or something like that. Maybe they're 11s. Nope, 12 and a halves. Of course. 12 and a halves and two 11s. Plus it could, have sails just in case. And let's put the conning tower before the front funnel. Talk about getting cancer on the bridge. Yeah, they were taking a siesta when they were designing that fucker. This thing looks good. Imperator Alexander the Second. This is a pretty good looking ship. Yeah, this is the flag on the back. You're gonna have the white ensign with a St. Andrew's cross. And the French hotels, of course. This Royal Sovereign. Oh, Texas has a fucking ship. That's Chile. Or, as they say in Britain, Chile. Hey, what's up, Marcus? My game was, it was long. And we had a lot of, I'm glad I didn't do it live, because we had a lot of issues with the camera. First, we started the game and didn't record anything, but we were only like a minute something in, so we just had to redo that first part. And then at some point in the middle, I got disconnected. Like, the phone, and I lost like 30 seconds of actual gameplay. So we just had to like catch everybody up on like one move. So it went okay. It's just 280 minutes long. So, it's going to be a long one. But let's just say it came down to the wire. Most of the games do come down to the wire. Shiranui actually means unknown fire. This thing. These French fuckers look great. I mean, they're probably impractical as hell. I don't care. You know? These things are cool. What's this? Je m'appelle. Admiral Ushakov. Yeah, sometimes they just give you a little, like, line drawing. Ushakov's here. Yeah, Ushakov looks like it's painted the same way that the British do. At least in this drawing, according to, This is actually what I don't like them painted like. And like that Great White Fleet, you got like this almost off-white. Okay, I'm good with that. But then you got this ochre fun. The ochre just looks... I'm okay with the funnels being ochre. The whole upper works being ochre, my opinion, looks stupid. Like, this is ugly as fuck. What's this, the main? No wonder they blew it up. I don't want to look at that thing anymore. Bam! Yeah, this is ugly as fuck. Sorry. This looks a little bit better, the Indiana. This is actually a pretty badass ship at the time. But that's because there's less ochre. I don't mind the funnels being ochre, but the upper works funnel just looks weird. What's this? Navarin. Navarin's pretty sleek. The Renown. Well, that's not the Renown I know. Yeah, this Tris Vitellia, they have a little black and white picture of it. Talk about chili. You had some elk chili. Had like 3 bowls. I've only had elk one time and it was amazing. So I don't know if elk is amazing all the time, but the elk that I had on a pizza in Banff was amazing. It's probably one of the best pizzas I've ever had. Yeah, I like these long ass freaking. What are these 13s? That's on Jaguari. Jaguari. 12s. Yeah, really long 12s. Doesn't say what caliber they are. They got to be some ridiculous caliber. I mean, there's more of the barrel that sticks out of the turret than inside the turret. Floating hotels. Yeah, so you hear this. What's this? Shikishima? Fuji. Okay. Yeah, Fuji. Look, Fuji and Sisoi Veliki are painted exactly the same way in here. I wouldn't do that. I'd find a way to make them look different. It's a canopus. Don't make me open this canopus. A ship of lesser renown, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The World War II renown, I freaking love the World War II renown. You know, they'll have stuff like old picture, you know, this is like 1880s. So you got something like this London, which was basically, I believe, in the Channel Fleet. And, you know, they put dazzle paintwork on it. It didn't look like this when it was built, obviously. Yeah, these are the ones that were out in Port Arthur, I believe. I could be wrong. Yeah, Perez-Viet enjoyed a checkered career. In August 1904, she was damaged heavily by the Japanese at the Battle of the Yellow Sea. Can they still call it the Yellow Sea, or does it have to be called something else now? I mean, if you're going to rename things, I mean, you know, I wouldn't have renamed the Gulf of. I wouldn't have renamed the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, if you're going to rename the Gulf of Mexico, call it the Gulf of New Spain. Hello. Elk fat is good if it's still on steak and it's smoked. Heavily damaged by the Japanese Battle of Yellow Sea, she regained Port Arthur only to be hit by a minimum of 23 11-inch howitzer shells. Yikes. And scuttled on December 7th, 1904. I guess December 7th is just like a great day for the Japanese. I wonder if that's the Japanese did the same thing. It's like, oh, let's do some really badass shit on December 7th. She was raised by the Japanese, repaired, and placed in service as a Sagami. In 1916, she was sold back to Russia, but went aground off Vladivostok. And her career finally ended on the 4th of January 1917 when she was sunk by a German mine off Port Said. Wait a second, isn't that... Port Said is in Egypt. No. Gotta be another Port Said. Ozliabia was built in New Admiralty Yard, was sunk by the Japanese gunfire in the Battle of Tsushima. Okay, so that one's later. Pobeda was built by the different slightly from its sisters in terms of armor and machinery. Not as heavily damaged in the Battle of the Yellow Sea as Perez-Viet. She too retired to Port Arthur, where she sank on December 7th, 1904, after being hit by 21 11-inch howitzer shells. Boy, those 11-inch howitzers were just having a field day on December 7th, 1904. She was raised by the Japanese and served at the Suwo, until reduced to scrap in 1922. I would have thought that she would have been reduced to scrap on December 5th, 1904, getting hit with that many howitzer shells. Yeah. Oh, no, they're built in New Admiralty, St. Petersburg. It's got to be a French design, though. It totally has, to a certain extent, based on French practice. The Perez-Viet had a high forecastle desk, stretching as far aft as the mainmast, and a fair amount of tumble home. And the main armament turrets of French pattern. Yamamoto was at Tsushima? Really? I didn't know that. Did not know that. Yeah, this is how I do my Japanese. But not all of them were this way. This is the Mikasa, the flagship. She's still around, right? She's like in one of the. She's like a. What do you call those? A museum ship. Sadovich. Never liked Sadovich. Just looked kind of chunky. Oh, the world's ugliest ship is in here. It's an Italian ship called. I don't know if it's the world's ugliest ship, but the drawing of the ugliest ship is in here. This thing's fucked up. Victoria, she got rammed, didn't she? Yeah, she has like a huge turret in the front and a tiny one in the back. It's almost like a casement. Two 16.25-inch guns, breech loading, and a 10-inch breech loader in the back. Yeah, she was sunk in maneuvers and the med. Where is this world's ugliest ship? My vote for the world's ugliest ship. It's called Affontadore, and it was in that Battle of Pisa. And the drawing for it in here just makes it look excruciatingly ugly. And it's funny because I don't really consider Italian ships to be ugly. Certainly not Dandolo and Duilio, nor, Dandolo and Duilio look pretty badass, actually. I don't like Civil War ships. They're ugly. Is this it? Affontadore. Affontadore just looks ugly as shit. And it's rusty, and you don't know where the fuck the counting tower is. How'd you like to be the commander of this thing? Like, where are you standing? Out here preaching on top of this thing? This is a really unattractive vessel. Victoria's wreck is stood up. Huh. Yeah, this thing's ugly as fuck. Or at least this drawing of it is ugly as fuck. So Dandolo and Duilio, one of them, I want to say Duilio, had a torpedo boat. There's a full picture of her. It'll be easy to find. She's like 1880s, something like that. Should be, if it's not in this one, it's the next zone. So there's two classes of Italian ships that are super interesting. I think they're super interesting. Dandolo Duilio and Italian Lepanto. So if I was going to do ironclads, those would be the first ones I'd get. Yeah, this looks good. What Russian ship is this? Peter Velicki. Now it also is just waterline. That looks good. There's that front flag. That's basically like it's kind of like the Union Jack, but not. It's kind of like the flag that was the British flag before adding in Northern Ireland. I don't know, when it doesn't have all the stripes. It's kind of the same thing, but it's like a red background with a white cross like Britain, except reversed, like England, reversed, and then you got the St. Andrews on top of that. Looks pretty good. I'm like, Turkish? Who the fuck gave those guys any armored ships? People that'll do anything for money. Sorry, my natural inclination is to think of Turkey as the bad guys. I don't know. It's my genetics talking to me. What flag is this? Oh, Portugal. Well, that's cute. Not your typical Portuguese looking flag. Yeah, this is beautiful. Well, in a way. It also has a conning tower in a dumbass place. Let's put it behind one of the funnels. Obviously, they had plenty of people to wipe windows down. Duilio in white paintwork in the 1880s. Where does it say that they had a little torpedo boat in it? An interesting offensive feature was built into the Duilio, a stern compartment able to house the 26.5-ton torpedo boat Clio. Now, some of those destroyers that we just talked about, that Murakumo, they weigh 26 tons. So that's not that small. I mean, 26 tons is pretty small, but I mean, it's like, man, that's pretty heavy. I said, well, not when the ship that's carrying it weighs 10,000 tons. The 26.5-ton torpedo boat Clio, which could sally forth, their exact words. How do you say sally forth in Italian? Sally forth with an armament of two 14-inch torpedo tubes. But their sister, Dandolo, didn't have it. No Clio for you. And the Italia, I don't believe there's a full color pic. Nope, yeah, there is. This fucker. This is the most insane ship ever. This is the most insane ship ever. Looks like Jabba's sail barge. The Wanawanga? Italian Lepanto. So first of all, these had like 17.7 inch huge fucking guns that fired like once a week on a Tuesday. Okay? Hey, we got to wait till the next Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just 17 inch, not 17.7. 17 inch, 417. They're not protected. They're out here out in the open. I believe they're muzzle loaders. What a fucking bad idea. This is this designer called Brin. Benedetto Brin, I believe is what it is. He's basically Italy's Jackie Fisher. Although Jackie Fisher, I think, made like more successful things. But he was like, wanting to push the envelope on weird stuff. In spite of adverse comments leveled by some of the Dandolo and Duilio, Brin proceeded to follow these in 1875 by laying down two extraordinary ships, faster and more seaworthy than the turret ships and able to fight anything afloat. At the same time, they would carry a large number of troops. Yeah, wait for it. These two ships were Italian Lepanto, and they weren't exactly the same. Lepanto, I believe, only had 4 funnels as opposed to 6. They're armed with 4 103-ton gun plus 18 6-inch guns with 3,000 tons of coal to increase the range, all on 13,850 tons displacement. 16,000 horsepower gave nearly 18 knots, which was 3 knots faster than any ironclad at the time. So they had a huge armament that fired once a week. They were fast as hell, but they had no armor. They had hardly any armor at all. And they also could carry like 10,000 troops. So like you bring a whole fucking division. I don't know if that's listed on here, but I didn't pull that out of my ass. I would have come up with something better than that. I swear it's in here somewhere. Could carry a lot of troops, not like like a shitload, which is a lot of Italian eggs to be put in a basket. The race between the gun and armor now seemed to have swung in favor of the former, and according to Brin, he cut out any waterline armor and relied solely upon a cellular raft. You cannot compare a battleship to a raft. It's not going to go well, right? You're going to end up with some round cheese wheel, right? Or you're going to end up with something with no armor. Something like the Professor on Gilligan's Island built. He cut out any waterline armor and relied solely upon a cellular raft made up of many small compartments between the armored deck, which reached the sides by sloping down 6 feet above the waterline. 2 bulkheads set back several feet from the side of the ship and running the full length were interspaced with more bulkheads to create small compartments so that the effect of a hit would be minimized. You mean assuming it only went through 1 compartment? Like, oh, there's no armor here. Let's just go through 7 of them. The 4 main guns were mounted on 2 turntables and 1 oval barbette, running diagonally amidships across the deck and protected with 19-inch compound armor. An armored trunk carried the ammunition from below the armored deck to the guns, which fired 1 round every 5 minutes. That's not terrible. Total armor amounted to 3,000 tons, with backing some 20% of the normal displacement. Unfortunately, by the time these vessels entered service, the rapid development of the quick-firing gun and high-explosive shells had rendered them useless as battleships, but Britain could not be expected to foresee this. Yes, it's got a 4-inch deck, 19-inch citadel, 16-inch funnel base, 4-inch conning tower, no belt armor. Like, what? You can haul lots of beer. Yeah, and they've got all these little, like... They can't be like gun ports, can they? Yes, they can. It has 4 17-inch guns, 8 sixers. I don't see a single one. Oh, wait, here we go. One? I see one. Who knows where the hell they are? Okay, 8 6-inch guns. Obviously, they're on opposite sides. Half of them on each side. 4 17s, 8 6s, 4 4.7s, 2 3-inch. I don't know, we'll just see how these 3-inch guns will work. Put the 2 of them on there. 12 57 millimeters, 12 37 millimeters. Now keep in mind these are not aircraft guns, so you just have a bunch of them on there. What a shit show. Somewhere I read these carried like 10,000 troops. Which sounds insane, but that's why I remembered it. Unless I misremembered it. Can haul lots of beer. You don't want to drink Italian beer. I've had Italian beer by mistake. Italians do a lot of things right. Okay? Olive oil, super fast cars, firearms. Beer ain't one of them. Okay? No. Beer's not one of them. Anyhow, I love ships, man. Ships are cool. Ships are cool. Aircraft carriers suck ass. They take all the fun out of this. Right? They're just like, oh, that guy's really far away. I don't think we want to fight. You avoid the game altogether. Asshole aircraft carriers. We'd use aircraft carriers in a game, but we use them on a fixed area. So they'd be like, they would come under fire. I used Eagle a lot. Eagle's super handy because if it does fly off planes, it's not like in a ton of them that you can't deal with. It says 10,000 troops thing on Wiki as a demand for when it was designed. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't make shit up. I don't want to. I mean, there's enough interesting things that really happened. There's no reason to make things up. Yeah, that's an insane amount of troops. With no belt armor. Arrivederci, motherfucker! Hope you can swim. That's a bad idea. But that's a great vessel for a scenario. Right? You got to run across the board and not get sunk. And maybe they'll reload those damn 17-inch guns if you do. They probably they have a shit range. Actually, in Sea Creek, their rate of fire is 1/2. So most rate of fires are like, 2, 4, 6, something like that. 1/2. That means they get to fire every other turn. That's no bueno. Okay, this fits okay. But the other one does not. All right, so we'll go ahead and install this one. Hey, we're just here having fun. Arrivederci, motherfucker. Okay, now it stands to reason that if that's like this, then this should also be like this. Now, whether or not that's going to be the case or not, I don't think it's going to, because this little round part sticks out too low. So I'm just going to remove this backing. I'm going to leave this little plug on it, but I'm going to remove this backing. Because this has got to go horizontal. Yep. And then we'll install it like this. That's how it should go, regardless of what they say in the instructions. Anyways, that book. Why is that my favorite book? Used to be, growing up, my dad always had tons of books like that. I mean, that's how you learn shit. And, you know, when I was eating my Frosted Flakes or Corn Pops or whatever the hell I was eating in the morning as a young adult, as a teenager, I would just look through that book, and I just, you know, there was no internet. That's how you learn shit. Imagine that. There's no internet. You know, I think the internet is really helpful for making us a lot smarter. What's not helpful for making us a lot smarter is giving every idiot a voice. Okay. Because there's some people out there that are just obfuscation experts. Okay, it's time for a Coke. All right. Yeah, this thing reminds me of the Armor Fast Panzer IV. It just doesn't have a lot of armor on it, but by the time you add a couple things to it, it looks pretty decent. I mean, the details on it aren't bad. Details on it aren't bad. All right, so we've got a two-part. I don't know how accurate this thing is. Doesn't matter. This is what I have. I paid $2 for it. I think I got my money's worth out of it. And then this is the top of it. Ah! It's supposed to be a separate piece. It is. I felt like I was doing something wrong. I failed my own morale check. You'd think it was like 8 o'clock out there, but it's 6. Today went by way too fast. So before I go to bed, I'll have this video uploaded onto YouTube. Not that many people are interested in seeing it, but Gaslands has a funny way of making everything balance out. It really does. I've seen many games where the guy who's going to lose wins and things like that. It's really pretty. Well, that's what you want to see, you know. You want to see things come down to the wire. And it's pretty decent when it comes to that. And many DBA battles are that way too. I think it's just the nature of them being like, you know, unless it's a bloodbath, the guy who wins is not going to have that many less units than the guy who loses, as a general rule. So it's still one of those. If I'd gotten a few more pips in this one turn, might have turned out differently. That's great from a standpoint of having an entertaining, balanced game. So we're going to probably have another game next weekend. Unless I go out of town. And I need to find out if I'm going out of town soon. Because if I'm not, then I'm tempted to build something this week that might be pretty cool for Gaslands. Even though I don't need to. You know, like a tank or a rig or both. Could build several tanks. But they're not going to be any of these. They're going to be some make believe thing. A Mexican tank. An Urban Brotherhood tank. Got to call that thing the Black Panther. It'd be nice to use like an extra panther and just paint it black. That'd be like the base of it. That'd be pretty funny. With gold rims on it. I don't think any of my factions that have a rig are going to have a tank also. I think it's one thing or the other. So that's why I'm not going to do a redneck tank. Redneck's got the rig. So how'd your game turn out? And I really couldn't make out what the hell was going on. Because you were tagged on one of the posts, and it sounded like I thought the tanks were going to be at your location, but it seemed like the tanks were in Virginia. Because I didn't recognize any of the stuff that was there. Because you showed me stuff that you painted, and it looked like the stuff that was there was either not painted. It seemed like it was very gray. Everything was like very gray. So what exactly was going on there? See, I'm half tempted to build this as a G and use it for the fourth company. But like I said, the only reason I'm not painting is I don't feel like going out to the garage. Oh, that fits in there nicely. Okay. I like it when you can fit things in and then just dribble this glue into the gaps. This thing actually goes together really well. Holy smokes. The fit on this is really good. It's a great vehicle for like partisans to blow up or something. Okay, and this has like a base there. What about the holes? Oh, they go. That's a weird design. Oh, and I guess you could base this on the ground because there's like a base plate for this, and it doesn't come in here. So you could put this Flakvierling. You could put this separate and then turn this into a Panzer 4G. You're representing the action of the 6th Panzer Division. The Germans crushed that action. Their friends representing the Soviets attacking the Stalingrad pocket. So tanks would have been a mix. I don't understand what was going on though. I mean, all the tanks were on one board. Like you had your tanks in one place and they had theirs in another place. I don't know. I saw T-34s on their end. You don't have many pictures because the lighting was terrible in your apartment. I'm really blessed with lighting. I am. And you get spoiled real quick. To the point where it's like, I don't even want to play games at a convention because the lighting's not like here. And it just makes, you can't make out the details that you painted. And you got to squint. It just wears you out. Two separate games. And that was last night? It had to be. There's pictures of it last night. Did you play hooky on Friday? Anyways, you gonna be on tomorrow morning? We'll do My Voice is Back. We can do a deep dive into the cool shit that I found out about Wintergewitter. I got a lot of really interesting shit that I found out. On Friday night. Yeah, and I don't have the wife ain't here, so I can be all loud. I can be all loud and proud, and not have to worry about her. I'm loud anyways, but I don't have to consider her at all. I could be inconsiderate. So that's what that means. Being inconsiderate. Yeah, I don't consider anybody else at all. Just do my thing. Yes, we'll be on in the morning. Might need a short break to walk two dogs staying with us. Would love to learn. Well, I don't want to keep this shit to myself. I found some really interesting stuff. I am really good with Google Earth. That's really probably what I should. Nah, you know what? If I did that, if I did stuff with, I'm not a computer person though, so that wouldn't work. But I found some really interesting stuff. I can just figure out how to share my computer screen. I think that's what I'll do. We'll clear that off and it's not going to be professional. You can't expect that from me. I can't be worried about that. Like, man, your video isn't going to look professional. Okay, well, I just won't do it now. Then I wouldn't have any videos. Like I said, if you don't like the quality of my videos, don't watch my stuff. There's other people that have really good quality videos, and then the information they present is just stuff I'm not interested in, or watch me make a fool out of myself videos. Or AI bullshit. So you picture game board, your Facebook. It wasn't a robust setup, unfortunately. Still building terrain. Well, there's always something you can be doing. I set that thing up with palm trees, and it just it wasn't. Oh, they don't. They don't have you put this anywhere. Interesting. But it was cool using the palm trees for something. Considering all that work I did to them, and it's like, oh, okay, we're not doing the Pacific. It's just too big. It's just too big an ask right now. I don't know if the gun shield I feel like it's got this little gun shield in there also. We'll see. It doesn't show it anywhere here. I could dig for pictures, but we don't want to do that right now. When's that shit gonna get here? Oh, it's not 6:30 yet. That was the earliest chance of. Oh, you just sent me something. Let's see what we got here. Okay, the lighting doesn't look like it's terrible. Well, that's definitely the way to do a road, is to have sprinkles. Okay, so you got stuff of both sides on there. Oh, you have some destroyed Russian build. You know, I came really close to ordering some. But I got pretty good self-control. Because I imagine, all right, I got them in. And after I look at them, do I want to do the buildings next? No. So I'm like, okay. I talked myself out of it. Really, there's no problem with FOMO, I think. The ones that are from, who are they made by? That guy in Texas or whatever. He makes like undestroyed buildings and destroyed buildings, and but it was like 30 something bucks. And I'm like, I don't need to spend that money right now. I need to be happy with what I have. Do I like liverwurst? I don't think so. I can't say that I've really had it. I've seen it in the packaging. Nope. I don't like irony meats. So, if all meat tasted ironish, I wouldn't eat meat. I hate that taste. Some battle honors. Okay, still detailing one of them. Yeah. Well, then you're going to want to watch the video that I did that we're going to do in the morning. I might have some food for thought for you on buildings. But again, a lot of this stuff is like, you got to have like an idea of what you're looking for. So when you see it, you know what's real and what isn't. There's a diorama of this that this guy did for Operation Wintergewitter or Winter Storm, whichever one he called it. You might have called it one or the other. And it's this diorama that involves a T-34. And it's a T-34 basically busting through like a wall. And the wall is definitely a Stalingrad or larger city type building. Okay? I mean, there's no buildings, like those industrial buildings that I have, that are in Operation Wintergewitter. There's no buildings that I see any proof that would be anything other than like a collective farm type of thing. No paved roads. Probably no roads that even have pavers in them. I remember as a kid being fed stuff like bologna, olive loaf. I didn't like all that stuff, but it was the fucking 70s, right? And you had to eat what your fucking parents gave you, at least in my household. So either that or you didn't eat. So, but I have never wanted my daughter to eat something that's basically like meat in a paste, formed into a mold, and then you eat that. So I don't want her eating bologna, any of that kind of stuff, you know? Yeah, I haven't had bologna since probably the early 1980s. Don't plan on ever having it again. Could I eat it if I had to? Yeah, but I don't have to. What, do we lose a war or something like that? You'll see me eating beans and toast. Sorry, Brits. I had a guy that worked for me. He was from West Virginia. And I guess his whole life he was pestered about being poor or whatever. And he would never eat beans. He said, we started talking about stuff. So he would never put another bean in his mouth. I said, well, I like all beans except those beans that are, I don't like baked beans. And I don't like those British beans. But all the other beans, I don't have a problem with them. I don't want to eat it as like the only staple that I'm eating, but I don't have a problem with them. Liverwurst and cold beer. It sounds. It doesn't. It doesn't sound like something that's very appealing. And the only reason I say that is because when people say brats, I have a bad experience with brats. The when somebody gave me a brat to try, the first time that they presented it as a brat, it was one of them white ones, and it tasted horrible. At least at the time, it tasted horrible. Like I don't want to. I don't want to eat that shit. Literally, I don't want. I don't want to eat that shit. So I have a feeling that liverwurst is something like that. But it's not really something they eat in the South. I don't hear stories about people eating liverwurst. Beans on toast, British, no. Beans on toast, Mexican, yes. It's just those beans. It's those Heinz beans and tomato sauce. Like, what the fuck? They look like something you shouldn't be eating. That's all. Red beans and rice, fucking bring them on. Black, like Cuban black beans, bring them on. Refried beans, you'll be sorry, but okay, But I don't like baked beans either. They taste. I don't know. I just don't care for them. I know lima beans have a bad rap. I don't have a problem with lima beans. The beans that are in chili, no problem. Orale beans. All right, this is one of these instructions. If I was a 13-year-old kid, I wouldn't have been able to. I would not be able to deal with this because it's this is. Let's see. This is piss poor. Let's take this. Excuse me. It's that carbonation. Okay. And we're going to put this in here. Refried beans on toast might have been tested out for science. Like, I don't have a problem with Mexican food, but if I never ate Mexican food again, I'd be all right with that. Okay, we got that to fit in there. Perfect. Well, that's what we're going to do. And then this goes through the floorboard. Man, it's like a tight fit, like in a good way. Perfect. We'll install it like that. And then we'll dribble the glue in there. And then this should fit. Interesting. It has a hole for it, but it doesn't go all the way through. What if there's like another version of this? Maybe they made a Mobilwagen one too, and they wanted to use the same parts. Mobilwagen being the one that has the single 37. I'm sorry, the Ostwind. This is a Mobilwagen. I don't know. I forget. eso no cabe así. This is... Yeah, I put the ammo towards the back. Yep, this is towards the front. It's in that hole. Doesn't fit in there with a chair. Interesting. Well, this goes in through this side. Let's go ahead and glue this little guy together. We can line this thing up. There might be too many things to line up at once if we keep going on down this road. Okay, everything good on here? Yep, 2 halves are on there. It's a little clunky. If I switch this to the front one, then I could make it so that chair fits in. Let's try that. Because right now the chair won't fit in there. Now, it's definitely 2 different size holes. And this little one no, it's got to be there. It's got to be like that. All right, what if they got this backwards? What if they, let me make this so it's not so difficult to get in there. What if they got this, hello. What if they got this backwards? Let's open this up a little bit more. We're going to glue it anyway. So what if they got this backwards, and by switching it the other way around, I can get the seat to fit in? Still won't fit in there. There was a video of a guy drinking some strange brown drink from a vendor in Manila. All bad things could happen with that. That's no drink. 5 minutes later, he had to rush to use a toilet and pay for the paper, of course. The vendor owned the only toilet. Pretty good scam, to be fair. You know, you said that, and all I could visualize is the first 20 or 30 minutes of... What's that Indian Millionaire movie or whatever? When they're using the toilet and they just have this big pile of shit that's just literally like a dock with a hole in it. I mean, there's doors on it or whatever, but you're basically in a porta potty with a hole in there. Slumdog Millionaire. Never watched the movie, but that's all I remember is this little kid, and he fell in, he was covered in shit or something like that, and he wanted to go meet his movie star friend or whatever, and it's this little Indian kid that's just like, you know, he's just covered in a shit Slurpee. What favorite Slurpee you serving today? Cack. Only one flavor, cack. Never watched that. It just didn't grab me. Same thing with whatever that Asian movie is. What's that Asian movie that was some Crazy Rich Asians or whatever it's called? Never watched it. Started to, didn't grab me. The girls liked it. It just never grabbed me. Crazy, whatever it's called. Make a big deal out of it. I'm like, you know, it's funny because I like those kind of movies in that I don't know who the hell the actors are. So that's like a plus in my book. Right? You tell me a movie, so-and-so's going to be in a movie. Oh, that fucker again? Come on, man. Give me somebody that's never been heard of. So that, you know, those independent movies, I'm in favor of that. It was just subject matter really didn't apply to me. We have a hint of corn or hint of peanut. Yeah, more than a hint of curry. It's a curry slurry. So I guess that food for you guys in Britain is the equivalent of our Mexican food. See, Mexican food here, for right or wrong, has this is known for making you go to the bathroom profusely. I don't think that's exactly accurate. I have eaten a lot of Indian food here, not in India, and it's never made me go to the bathroom any more than anything else. I mean, if there was a kind of food that made me go to the bathroom a lot, I wouldn't eat it. Like that would just be really inconvenient. Like, oh, I love having such and such, and then I'm like, yeah, but I gotta be within a toilet. I wouldn't eat that food. I just wouldn't. It'd be too inconvenient. Deli belly. That's not the belly. That's not the belly. The other thing that was kind of unbelievable, right, is that in that movie, in the Slumdog Billionaire, the kid falls in that big pile of poo, and then he just acts like, if I remember correctly, like nothing's going on. He goes and meets it. Like, how do you get used to that smell? Maybe it depends on where the environment that you live in. If it smells like that all the time, like for instance, it hasn't happened in a long time, but where I work is near the way the crow flies to some dairy farms. And by near, I mean within 5 miles. And many years ago, if wind was blowing the wrong way, you'd smell it. It's just horrible. It's just, and like chicken shit is even worse than that. I don't know what the hell's in chicken shit, but it smells like dead rot. It smells like the Eastern fucking Front. Okay? Like I imagine the Eastern Front smelling like. Just horrific. Actually, we know some people that they got invited to go to a wedding in India, and let's just say they did not enjoy the smell. Oh, they do? In India, a lot of people refuse to use indoor toilets and prefer to openly defecate. Oh, so it's like Asia's California. Sorry, Marcus. Oh, man. Why wouldn't you use an indoor toilet? I mean, if you don't have one, okay, fair, fair. But if you have one, I'd rather not use one. So we actually had to put a sign in our toilets at work because we had a lot of people several years ago that came from a country that, even if they were here legally, they were here. They're used to not being able to. They would wipe their ass, and they would not flush the ass paper down the toilet. They would put it in the garbage can. And of course, if you're the people that have to clean out the garbage every time, you've got these cans that smell like poo. I'd put a sign in Spanish that told them, when you wipe your ass with it, make sure you flush it down the toilet. Because in Mexico, or in some places, I didn't know this, that the toilets can't handle flushing the toilet paper. I'm like, wow. Well, you have toilets, but they can't handle. So I understand if you don't have toilets, right? There's lots of places where there's no toilets. They didn't have toilets. I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, whatever. I get it, but you have toilets, but you can't flush paper down it. What? What? They had to launch a big campaign called "Take the Poo to the Loo" to combat it, and it didn't work. I don't know. Did they bring those customs to the UK? The worst bathroom experience for me was the hike up Kilimanjaro. Dig a hole, put a tent around it. Northern Europe too. So in Northern Europe, you can't flush the toilet paper down? Look, the best method is the whole bidet thing. But you still need somewhere to flush some of the. That's the best method. So this little thing is sticking out. I bet that's where this thing attaches. It is. Okay. So it doesn't even show. It doesn't show that thing, but it has it. Okay. Cool. All right. So this is going to go through this side. This stuff is, this ain't my first rodeo. And like I said, almost every instruction there's something wrong with, except Tamiya. Tamiya is the holy grail. I'm sure they probably missed something too, but that's everything else. Nobody beats Tamiya. When they built the Victorian sewers in London, the guy that designed them was very smart to make them extra big to future-proof them. Well, at least when you hiked up Kilimanjaro, you got to put a tent around it. I don't know about pooping in public. I don't like plumbing matters in public. Like, give yourself some privacy, Like, taking a shower in a public shower, not my preference, but I really don't want to do plumbing work without privacy. Come on. You can do it! Get in there. There we go. We're going to try to see if we can get away with not gluing this, so it can still rotate. So we got to be really careful with our glue. We're going to just the tip, Vasily. In Netherlands. Bazalgette. We need to go back to the Netherlands and straighten those people out again. Didn't work the first time. Dig up the Duke of Iron and straighten those people out. Yeah, my ancestors in the 1500s had their priorities wrong. They don't give. You shouldn't care about who the hell the Pope is. Just like use the fucking toilet, dude. We're gonna use the fucking toilet. Oh man, the bloody Dutch. Okay. Now the tinkering begins. So here's the thing. It doesn't really matter. This can be glued to it. This thing didn't spin independently of the walls. It's not like the inside spun. Like if it spun with the little openings where it went, right? So this has got to go through it. This is like a good thing for me to put one of them damn magnets on there. Okay, so the Dutch what? You can't flush toilet paper down the toilets. And meanwhile, next door, the Germans all sit down to pee. Well, I'd rather sit down to pee than not be able to flush toilet paper down the toilet. You know? Maybe they just did that because, like when they first put urinals in Germany, they had too many incidents where somebody goes, "Oh, what you have side there? What you packing?" Like, we have to sit down. We have too many people asking questions, trying to get a look see. Okay, maybe there's a good reason for it. I don't think that I'm going to be able to. Let me just enlarge this, see if that helps a little bit. Some parts of this go amazingly well together, and some parts are like, who designed this? A blind person? Nothing against blind people, but they shouldn't be designing models. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this seat does not fit in there. This does not fit in there at all. But we have a solution. We're going to remove it, and then we're going to glue it farther in. And I think the best way to remove it is to go ahead and use this. Let's make sure we're not clipping something that we're going to need. And remove the seat. And then we will glue it farther in. All right. Now we've got that over the hole. And it still doesn't want to go in. Yet there's a little bit of a gap there. There we go. Wiggle it. Except now it's not lined up with this thing. Okay. Let's try it again. Put it here. This is like decent challenging. Like, I know I'm going to win. It's just, getting this thing that is pig-headed to listen to me. You pig-headed model, you. Let's go ahead and do a little more. That's twice. I swear, I put on glasses and I'm like the fucking fumbler. It just focuses your vision too much on one area. Well, this isn't going all the way down. I don't know why. It's not seating all the way. So I may just have to give up on... I mean, I think it looks pretty fucking decent. That looks pretty good. it's funny. It seats like this, all right. It seats good there. But as soon as I rotate it where the holes are, and I can't pick where the holes are, it doesn't seat okay. Like there, it's all the way at the bottom. So I move it back 45 degrees from there. It's not hitting the walls or anything. We're going to pick it up. And rotate it. It doesn't want to sit back down. Why not? What's it hitting? It's like this is misshapen. All right, how do I fix that? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the corners. I'm going to cut that corner there, that corner there. It's just like a little ledge anyways. This corner here, and that corner there. Let's see if it fits in now. Yes. That did it. And the chair still wouldn't have fit. Okay. Good. I'm going to go ahead and take this and glue it down. I'm going to go ahead and take this and glue it down. And then after it's in... Oh, but how the fuck am I going to paint it? Some people build puzzles, other people just build old models. Let's say this was in place here. And we put the little chair. Whee! And we put the little chair. We want to move it into that. Okay, so here's the compromise. I'm not going to glue it in. Okay, that way we can paint them separately. And I don't mind gluing it afterwards because where it glues is not going to be visible. So you don't have one of these situations where you painted something, but then you have to scrape glue off of it to get it to fit. This is a bit, the two halves of the mold fit in here and they didn't exactly go very smooth. Again, this is one of these, it's not that small, it's not difficult to see. It's just like, what do I grab when I sand this thing down? And you also have to grab it lightly so you don't bend the backing of the chair. I think this is working. Bending over on the weekend. And you know, that wouldn't happen if I leaned over my table, but that'd fuck up my neck. I'd get a crick in my neck. That'll last me for like 4 days. Like, nope, I ain't doing that. Been there, done that, had it done to me. All right. I think that's... Well, we got a model meeting next week. I guess I'll have something to bring them. We'll discount my tiny little tanks. Well, you know, my tiny little tanks could be used in a game. And I thought about getting those Pegasus houses for the Russians. You know, with the internet, I'm more likely to like not buy stuff. I'm like, because I can't tell you how many times in the early '90s I ordered something from a catalog that had no pictures because I had this grandiose idea that it was going to be the holy grail and be exactly what I'm looking for, only to get it and be disappointed. Now with the internet, you can go anywhere and see what the parts are, what it looks like built. Not everything, but many things. So that spirit of adventure is gone. Okay, that's good. And we will glue this at a later date. But this also has a little mount, I guess. I've never seen one like that down to the ground. If you did, it would be by itself. It wouldn't have the sides on it. It'd be just by itself like that, and it looks kind of funky. Oh my gosh. I wonder if that's what the thing is. That you use this base when you mount it separately, and when you use it by itself, it goes in here. I bet that's what it fucking is. Well, you know what? The chair still doesn't fit in. I bet that's what it is. I bet you don't use I bet you don't use this bottom when it's in here. Well, I'll figure it out. Oh, and here it says it in the. Okay. I gotta use the little boy's room. Be right back. Okay. Man, today just flying by. Hate that. I hate that. Let's let's consult. I don't want to lose my spot on the video. Oh, hold on a second. Before I bend myself over. 98.55. So if I lose my spot, let me write down where I'm at on the video. Yeah. 98.55 of 260. That's where I'm at. There's at one point in the game where I don't remember if I got a chance, if I forgot to shoot something. And I just decided, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to come back and the next thing you know, I shot twice, kind of bullshit. So I'm wondering when I'm going to get to that point. Where is... Where is my order that's out for delivery between 7 and 10? Well, that's what we're going to do, is we're going to do that. Now, one thing I actually want to do on camera, I know this sounds crazy and extremely destructive. See where I can find it. I have something here that I no longer own, that I don't have a use for, that I'm going to destroy because there might be parts in here that I can use for Gaslands. And that is a remote for the TV. I don't have this TV anymore. It died. And there might be something I can use in here. I don't know. Certainly not the squishy buttons. I don't want to so much hit it with a hammer, but... Oh, it does have some kind of... Nope, that's a light. You'd think they would have some kind of a screw or something. Take this thing apart. Oh, hold on a second. That's the remote for the new TV. Son of a bitch. There we go. Let's see what we got in here. All this is one piece. Shit, paint job on that. That's it! And there's nothing exciting in here at all. Got a little transit. I'm not going to use this. This might leak or some shit like that. And next thing you know, I got a problem. Yeah, that wasn't exciting. It didn't take much to take it apart. I think this wasn't meant to be taken apart. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep that. I mean, what am I going to do with that? Some kind of a fucking engine or some shit like that? And this little transistor, I don't know, do these things leak? No. Disappointing. Oh well. The Netflix button. How is it? Is it just painted on? I wonder if I can make a sign out of this. You get a bag of resistors and stuff for pennies at do-yourself store. Go to the dumpster diving and fill men. I'm just afraid of it leaking. Look at this button that says Netflix on it. I bet I could remove this and use this as a sign. A little Netflix sign or something like that. I bet I can do that. I don't know if I have a use for this, but I keep old PC components in hopes that one day I'll be inspired to use the bits for terrain. Yeah, but you know some of that stuff leaks. I'm going to leave it back on it. Okay. We kept the Netflix button out of all this shit. Hey, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. All right, they give you this little like bullshit cart. I don't know what this is, but I don't see much of a use for it other than to build it as a bullshit cart. Here's the wheels. Here's this little some kind of tune-in Tokyo type thing. Huge freaking rangefinder. I mean, the space between them is like on a fucking battleship or something like that. Okay, that can go in the "we don't need you anymore" category. The fact that they give you a metal rod is a pain in the ass because that means now I can't use weld cement for it. And I want to say I've got one of these little one of these verbal vins that I got from Don in 1/87th scale. And I'm not opposed to using it. I mean, this is like a great target for go blow something up, Les partisans! Okay, so this goes a C. Yeah, sometimes some parts of this fit together great, and some parts are like, what are you smoking? Okay, so this. Oh, let's take that off. Yeah, I hate how fast the day's gone. No, it's better than having a bad day. No, I've stayed busy. I don't think I'm gonna go to the show in Jacksonville. I don't need more shit. I'm happy with what I have. It's not like there's anything here that I don't want to build. If I gotta have something, I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'll surf around, put it in my cart, and go, well, that was fun. It's like a freaking laser. Dr. Evil looking thing. I tried washing that with my when my daughter wanted to see it a couple years ago. It's worse than I expected it to be. Right, now I got that little theme song stuck in my head. Over and over and over and over again. All right, this is weird because this fits, but it doesn't fit. I'm going to have to cut a notch in it or something. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to go even with this and remove some of this thickness so it'll fit in here. Okay, and is that enough? I think it didn't take much to do that. That did it. That did it. All right, now we can glue this in place, I think. Now this bloody axle. I bet it's not going to fit in the hole. First world country problems. This tape is ancient. Fuck. That hurt. Wow. I thought for sure I went through my finger. Woo! It actually didn't hurt. It just startled the shit out of me. Like, I'm pushing it through and it popped out the other side. Yeah. Okay. That's why you guys watch this. You never know when I'm going to get injured. I do all my own stunts. Okay, now that we have another side and we know that this thing's a bastard, I pushed too hard on you motherfuckers coming through here. Yeah. All right. And I don't care about the wheels turning. I just want to have it attached in there, so I want to put a little drop of glue. We're okay. That could have been worse. All right, another shit show here. Oh, this has holes in it. Okay. So that should be able to fit here. And here. And rotate. I don't know that I need it to rotate, but It's like something off of the Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson. This is probably something make-believe anyways. I'll have to consult my Osprey radar antennas of the Third Reich to see if what they have to say about this. I'm gonna glue this in place. I like this angle it's at. 30 degrees, something like that. It looks believable. Oh, I'm gonna be all limp dick about it and fall down. Let's have gravity work for us, not against us. See, that's good. That's good. And this is just standing there. I don't know what the hell you use that for. It's got no crew. It's got a crew of none. And then this piece that doesn't say anything to do with it. You know, if I was willing to make this thing gray, which I'm not, I would just paint this gray and make the turret removable. So I don't know what to do with it. But, alright, well I gotta have some dinner. So we'll be back on tomorrow morning at our normal time for the weekend. And we're gonna do a Wintergewitter show. Or at least for the first hour and a half or something like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And thanks for stopping by.